Over the past 30 years, Wells for India trustees have visited the Rajasthan projects practically every year. In this video we're going to look at 4 projects, and the first of those is in the Wakal Valley, where Wells for India has implemented some 20 to 25 projects in the course of its history. Visiting the Wakal Valley from Udaipur means a drive of about 2.5 hours at the very least, most of it over bumpy country roads. Our partner MSS has a field centre in a village quite close to the Wakal Valley. One of the MSS projects involves bringing sanitation to a number of villages in the Wakal. Om Prakash Sharma, director of our Udaipur office, is showing a document designed to keep track of these complex sanitation projects. Dr. Mary Gray, co-founder of Wells for India, has visited the Rajasthan projects practically every year since the late 1980s. After leaving the field centre, we came to some high ground which gave us a wonderful view of the whole Wakal Valley. In mid-February, much of the landscape looks pretty arid, but you can see large green patches where the irrigation projects are making all the difference. At our first stop, we are welcomed with the traditional Namaste greeting by the farmer in charge of livestock. In the neighbouring horticulture project, a variety of medicinal plants are already flourishing. The Kaur Singh family members who own this project each play their own unique role in making it a success. Most of the water required by the horticulture project is gathered during the monsoon season via this roof rainwater harvesting technique. The lift irrigation system, installed in 2009, supports over 60 families in an area of over 13 hectares. Here you can see a fine crop of winter wheat developing. This group of farmers will be the first to benefit from the drip irrigation system currently being installed. Our party received the traditional greeting as we arrived at the Adiwas village meeting to celebrate the start of the new sanitation project. The following morning at the Chota Guda sanitation project, it was clearly the women who were taking the lead. However, our visit to the project was cut short when we got a message from the Udaipur district collector asking if we could come to a meeting at his residence. Rohit Gupta, the present district collector, is the most senior civil servant in the Udaipur district local government setup. The time he spent with us is a clear indication of the high value that the Indian government is placing on its cooperation with Wells for India and its partners. After travelling from Udaipur in the south of Rajasthan up to Jaipur in the northeast, our first project visit was to our long-standing partner GVNML. GVNML have been working for over 15 years in an area near the Sambar lakes where the groundwater is extremely saline. You can see how productive the soil now is when monsoon rainwater is harvested for irrigation later in the year. Ram Gopal, who farms this land, is explaining how he stores monsoon rainwater in a pond and then uses it for sowing, and subsequently is able to use well water for irrigation. The well water is slightly saline, but it's perfectly all right for irrigation after sowing. He is also growing trees whose leaves have medicinal properties. We then moved on to a 150-hectare area of commonly owned pasture land. This land was formerly unproductive, but Laxman Singh, founder of GVNML, has developed over a period of 20 years the chowker system, which is specially adapted for irrigating areas like this where you want to grow bushes and small trees. An interlinked system of shallow depressions is excavated so that when the monsoon rains arrive, they gradually fill each of these with water. This water is then sufficient to grow a carefully selected variety of small trees and bushes with medicinal and other properties. We had a rare encounter with some nilgai, the largest antelope in South Asia. After lunch with Laxman Singh and his family, we moved to a different area where they are experimenting with new adaptations of the chowker system. One of the features around La Paria are these large haystacks, as they look to us, which are used to store fodder for the winter. They consist mainly of stalks of maize or corn, which are then chopped up and mixed with other material to make cattle food. The following day we visited Charasada, an area quite close to La Paria where we had been the day before, where our project with PKS, a new partner, is coming to a very successful conclusion. Here you can see one of the 125 roof rainwater harvesting systems which have been installed over the past 3 years. We visited the home of Ramti Devi and her daughter-in-law Supya. Ramti told us how she and her daughter-in-law used to spend 3 to 4 hours every day carrying water from 2 or 3 miles away. The women of the village, who belonged to a self-help group, then assembled to explain how their lives had been transformed by these roof rainwater harvesting systems. Ramti lost no time in telling the younger generation of women how soft their lives had become compared to what she had had to experience. We were struck by the number of newly built houses that had been constructed in the past 2 or 3 years, replacing the rather ramshackle or kutcha houses that they had previously lived in. As we walked around the village, we came across some really touching scenes of family life. Our final visit was to a household with 5 daughters who had all been married recently. I must say that they all seem to be enjoying life remarkably well.
That's quite. तो कितना की एक साथ हुई शादी सबके एक साथ